I am the rose of Sharon and the lilies of the valleys. As the lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. As the apple tree among the trees of wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Stay me with flagons, or comfort me with apples, for I am sick of love. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand doth embrace me. I charge ye, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roes and by the hinds of the fields, that ye stir not up, nor awake my love till he please. The voice of my beloved, behold, he cometh leaping upon the mountain, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a roe or a young hart. Behold, he standeth behind our wall. He looketh forth at the windows, and showing himself through the lattice. Behold, my beloved spake, and said unto me, Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, and the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth, the time of the singing of birds is come, and the voice of the turtle is heard in our land. The fig tree putteth forth her green figs, and the vines with tender grape and give good smell. Arise, my love, my fair one, and come away. O my dove, that thou art in the clefts of the rock, in the secret places of the stairs, let me see thy countenance. Let me hear thy voice, for sweet is thy voice, and thy countenance is comely. Take up the foxes, the little foxes, that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. My beloved is mine, and I am his, and he feedeth among the lilies until the day break, and the shadow flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be like a roe or a young hart upon the mountains of Bethel. Song of Solomon, chapter 2. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have swayed the thoughts of men's hearts. And let me not be led astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me in my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Oh, yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're walking with Mr. Clay, and yes, I am Mr. Clay. And this Song of Solomon, wow. It sort of reminds me of a book I read a long time ago called Hinds Feet in High Places by Hannah Hubbard. If you can get that book, it's a little paperback. You can probably find it at a thrift store, a book thrift store, or something like that. You probably can order it on Amazon or some other type of book outlet online, or maybe around where you live. But a very poetic book that comes from the book of Solomon, how that the deliverance of the Most High, the deliverance of the I Am, the one that exists, the eternal, is yet not that far away. If we cast our love upon the eternal, cast our love, for love is walking in the boundaries, is walking in the laws, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High. Many don't know what love means. See, the Greeks have put that there, and it's to trip you up. It trips you up in that you are given no parameters. What is to weigh love? What is the measure of love? What is it? What is the measure of love? How do I measure that you love me or I love you? See, apparently King Solomon understood this of the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High, and how that we please him, even in that commandment that says, love the I Am with all your heart, mind, and strength. and your neighbor as yourself. In other words, your love should exceed anything, even your own self, in that you would put the Most High above your own life, well-being, and anything that is yours. This is the love, how you say, of God. This is the love of God. There are many things that would take us away from that. Even your Yahushua, your Messiah things, should I say, that would take you away from the love of what you call the Father. Because even today, the Satans are showing the rebelliousness of mankind toward even the Creator, who we call the Father, even replacing even the children of Jacob with what they call a church. This is not to be. Because everything you hear in the law, it says after your generations. This is a perpetual ordinance and all these things, but yet the church says, no, we've taken that away. Your Jesus, your Yahushua, your Yahusha has taken all that away on the cross. But what have you? The only thing he ever done was repeated those things that the prophets have repeated before him. If you want to put it that way, that's it. So really it's neither here nor there. But to take the Song of Solomon and meditate on it toward your God will give you a sense of romance toward, not in a fleshly sense, but a sense of me and my God. Me and my God are together. Me and my God love each other. Me and my God, we are intimate spiritually. Me and my God, no gay stuff, no stuff like that, no. But me and my God, yes, he puts God as a masculine figure and versus a woman, but we know that the Most High is neither male nor female, but the Most High is our love. Our love, even that love that we show toward the Most High in not having other gods before the Most High. Neither creating anything in the earth or thereof, space or whatever, that we would bow down to it. To put it above the Most High. Even your Yahushua, your Jesus, or whatever you call this entity or this fictitious being. Yes. But we're in the book of Job. We're going to digress from that, but we're in the book of Job. Job chapter 18 as you prepare. Yes, I really love that book. Hind's Feet on High Places by Hannah Hubbard. Very good book. She was inspired. She said she was on an airplane and she was reading the Song of Solomon and these things came to her. Yes. Maybe the Most High wanted to be more intimate, and sometimes God would give things to heathen to bring forth his own people. She animates it with something else, but it's still a poetic book. The Song of Solomon, yes, very poetic. And in the book of Job, chapter 18, Job, a suffering man. A man don't know that he's about to be raised up. You see how other people say, oh, your test is coming before your blessing. Not always. Sometimes your blessing just can come. But in this case, Job, sometimes your blessing, your riches and all this is to test you. To see if you will love God or not. Even David had come back and said, if you give me too much, I might deny you. If you give me too little, I will steal and take your name in vain. And then he said, he just asking, give me what I need. Yet he was a rich man. But Job chapter 18, Job suffers. Now here, then answered Bildad the Shuhite, said, how long will ye be ere ye make an end of words? Mark, and afterwards we will speak. You have to realize this is reading in Old English. Always remember Old English is what, if you speak English, your Bible will tell you this. And even other languages, it would say about the same thing. but not as with this ear and thus and thou and all these other things that people mainly don't understand. But he said, how long will it be that ye make an end of words? Ear, that's an old English word. Mark, and afterwards we will speak. Wherefore are we counted as beast and reptile and vile in your sight? Yes, they are, because they're trying to get him, even these Satans that speak and sway these men's hearts, are trying to get him to deny and curse the Most High. He teareth himself in his anger, and shall the earth be forsaken for thee? In other words, shall the earth be forsaken for you? What, God, just for you? And shall the rock which be removed out of his place, yea, and the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. Even the wicked knows this. And the light shall be dark in his tabernacle, and his candle shall be put out with him. And the steps of his strength shall be straightened, and his own counsel shall cast him out or down. For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and he walketh upon a snare. And the jinn is like a Satan, an evil spirit, or whatever you would call it, shall take him by the heel. Even if you compare this when the Most High said unto Eve, the serpent shall bruise your heel, but your seed Adam's seed will crush his head. It sort of makes me figure if this Cain was not the seed of the Satan that had deceived Eve, or that he fathered Cain. It's something to think about. And the robber shall prevail against him, and the snare is laid for him in the ground, and the trap for him in the way. Terrors shall make him afraid on every side, and shall drive him to his feet. His strength shall be hunger bidden, and destruction shall be ready at his side. This is the wicked. Yes, it's telling the truth. This thing is speaking through Bildad and telling the truth. It shall devour the strength of his skin, even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. It shall bring him to the king of terrors. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. It shall bring him to the king of terrors. Yes. And it shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. His root shall be dried up beneath, and above his branch shall be cut off. His remembrance shall perish from the earth, and he shall have no name in the street. He shall be driven from the light into darkness, and chased out of the world. And he shall neither have son nor nephew, his people, nor any remaining in his dwelling. Yes, this is the plight of the wicked. He says, this is what you count us as. Job, you count us as wicked people before you. And this is what they were, and that they had began to tell Job that you don't count. You've done something wrong. You've blasphemed or did something against the Most High that you have to suffer this much. See, you have to look at the fact that many people around you that are hypocrites or semi-religious or straddling the fence, or however you say, will look at your calamity or your condition excuse me, as a curse from the Most High, when the opposite may be true. It's a blessing to test, and that the Most High has showing you off before the Satans, and that you could have been like this. You could have been, this man's heart is steadfast, but you fail at a thought. So you have to realize the spirits are supposed to be in harmony with the Most High. I mean, from the string of the thoughts, from the feeling, how you call it, how you can feel, and then when someone has a bad feeling, you can know it. This is the cohesion between God and spirits. But when that spirit goes its own way and does its own thing and just the very thought of being rebellious is shaken the relationship between that spirit and the Most High. And therefore it becomes a Satan. Now, even the ones that move, if you understand the thing that Daniel saw with the what we call the cherubims or whatever we call them, but either way, these beings that are constantly before, never ceasing, before the throne of the Most High, even the I Am, they move when the I Am moves, whether the I Am goes back or forth or side to side. They never cease to look at the face or see the face of the Most High. Even when Moses saw the Most High, these beings were there. The Most High never makes a move without these beings constantly praising and worshiping and giving glory to the Most High. Therefore, even that incense that they had burnt before in the tabernacle 24/7, they had the candle lit 24/7. One would get up and make sure there was not even a flicker on that candle. And that fuel was given. The oil was always replenished. And the incense would always fill the temple. This is the same thing in the realm of the Most High. This is why your stench of your flesh and your sin and everything else cannot come before it, or evil mind. Yes, this is true. And yes, even the righteous that walk according to the law cannot stand to be in the presence of sinners and evil people. Cannot. You cannot. If you walk according to the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances of the Most High, these people are an abomination unto you. With their adulteries, their fornications, their paganisms, these things make you angry. You say, well, why do I feel, oh, you think you're better than us? Yes, I am better than you before my God, because I do not condone the things that you do. I condone the things of the Most High, and those things that the Most High does are a part of me, and I a part of it. This is why it's so important that we understand and know the laws, commandments, statutes, and ordinances of the Most High, that we will not sin in our hearts, that we will not sin. Oh, maybe you cannot get circumcised at one time, or maybe you cannot observe the feast days and all these other things, but the fact is we still can keep those parts of the law that we can keep. Because some places you have to pay thousands of dollars, and many of us don't even have the money unless God provided. I understand you. And the fact is that some of us, $3,000 for a circumcision because your parents did not know who the Most High is. And the commandments, statutes, and ordinances, they shouted in the church, but they never got you circumcised on the 8th day, which is preferable before the Most High. And then you live in a place where you cannot get there's no Levite priest, there's nothing. But God has that under control. You have to look at the captivity of the Israelites before you that were in captivity, that were at war. They could not keep a lot of these things, but when they were able to, they did it. Did God hold them accountable for that? No, he did not. But they kept that which they could, even those in the great inquisitions and everything. Yes, they kept that which they could. They suffered. Was God with them? Yes, God was, to bring them back. To bring them back. Now, verse 20. Neither shall have, verse 19, he shall have son of, this is the plight of the wicked. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, and they, as they went before, were frightened. Surely are the dwellings of the wicked, and this is the place of him that knoweth not God. In other words, they're telling Job, you don't know God. This is what will happen. In a roundabout way, not directly, but this is what will happen to the wicked. You're wicked, Job, but you count us as wicked. But yet Job sees them as wicked because they're not keeping the law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances that are known of that day. But the special people had not even formed yet. They were still in captivity at this time. And if we do those things that are pleasing, loving, just like our love, even the Most High, that spirit that moved upon the water, to love this spirit, not to say a hymn because we would walk out of our gender, but the fact is to love that spirit, to love the eternal, the one that have created things and commanded that it bear fruit after its kind, even man. So there's no thing, woman, you can have in creating a man child or a woman child. Neither is there a man that can take benefit of that. It's how God created you. You were there to be a helpmeet for the man. You were there that you might provide for your wife and your children. And that together you all raise a seed, two becoming one, making one. Each time you become one. You don't understand that. Yeah, they can't tell you nothing like that. But anyway, this is the place of him that knoweth not God. And if we keep those things that God commands us, and we develop a love for the Most High, we will have peace.